Welcome to another edition of The Sharp Edge. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Week 2 of the NFL season is here, and it's week 3 of the college football season. You know, the action is starting to heat up. We begin this episode like we do each and every week, and that is looking back on our plays from last week. And I'll be honest, not our best work. But I stress this, it's a marathon, not a sprint. We were 2-4 against the spread last week. Western Michigan didn't cover for us. Clemson won outright, but they didn't cover. Stanford saved us in our college football slate. And in the NFL, the Giants didn't cover. The Chargers lost outright, but the Ravens, they crushed the Buffalo Bills. So that brings our year-to-date record to 6-6 against the spread. Now let's get to this week's Pick 6. For our first college football play, we're going to look at the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I've picked them before, and I'll continue to pick them because I think they're a talented football team that's going to cover against the spread more times than not, even though they're 1-1 ATS so far this season, 2-0 outright. This spread, I gotta be honest, I don't like it. It's 14.5, but I do see it going down, and that's where the value will come in on Notre Dame. Monitor this line as the week progresses, and before kickoff, if you can get Notre Dame as 14 or under 13.5 or 13, you hammer the Irish. They will win this game by 2 touchdowns over Vanderbilt, but a 14.5 point line, not a lot of value right now. So I like the Irish to win at home. I like them to win by 2 touchdowns, but I would keep an eye on this one to see if it moves down to underneath 2 touchdowns. For our next play, I'm going with yet another favorite. It's the marquee game in the SEC between Auburn and LSU. The home team in this series since 2009, 8-1 against the spread. I think that's going to be 9-1 after this Saturday when Auburn defeats LSU at Jordan-Hare by more than 10 points. They are more talented than LSU. And yes, Ed Orgeron has his team playing well the first 2 games of the season, but now it's time to step up in class against Jared Stidham and the Auburn Tigers, and I don't think that they'll be capable to hang with them. Auburn is also looking to avenge the loss that occurred last season when they blew that big lead in Baton Rouge. I expect Auburn to dominate this game from start to finish. For our final college football play of the week, we look at another big favorite, Ohio State against TCU. Yes, I've said before that road favorites are sucker bets, and even though AT&T Stadium is just 20 miles away from the campus of TCU, it's still a neutral site game, and that stadium is so big, it's a destination you're going to have a lot of Buckeye presence in Jerry's World. Ohio State is way more talented than TCU, and Gary Patterson is a solid coach who always has his team ready to play defense in certain situations, but Ohio State has a different dynamic to their team this year. Dwayne Haskins is throwing the ball very effectively, and I think in their final game without Urban Meyer on the sidelines, the Buckeyes will win, and win convincingly against TCU. We continue the Pick 6 in the NFL now, and I'm going to pick on the Buffalo Bills. I went against them last week with the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm going against them again this week with the LA Chargers. Yes, it's a 7.5 point line. Monitor that. If it goes down to 7, you jump all over it, and if you can, buy the hook, which means you buy a half a point to move the spread in your direction. Get it to 7 if you can, so if they win by just a touchdown, it's a push. I don't even think you need to do that because the Buffalo Bills are one of the worst football teams in the NFL. And they're going to switch from Nathan Peterman at quarterback to rookie Josh Allen. So you're going to give me a rookie at home. First NFL start, he might be a little bit nervous, and he's going up against a future Hall of Famer in Phillip Rivers. That team is way more talented than the Buffalo Bills. I expect the Chargers to bounce back from their Week 1 loss and win at Buffalo. Let's go with some dogs now, shall we? How about the Kansas City Chiefs +5 on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers? KC looked good in their season-opening victory on the road at the Chargers. And Tyreek Hill, this dude is a phenom. Second most touchdowns in NFL history in his first 2 seasons, above 50 yards, second only to Devin Hester. If he can get a special teams touchdown again in this game, or even just stay involved in the passing game, I expect the Chiefs to give a very good effort against this Pittsburgh Steelers team that turned the ball over way too many times in their Week 1 tie against the Cleveland Browns. No Le'Veon Bell appears to be no problem for Pittsburgh. James Conner running the ball very effectively, but I think this spread is a little too high. I see this as a field goal game either way. Take the Chiefs with the points. Finally, let's go to Sunday Night Football, where the Cowboys host the Giants. It seems like every year these two teams play on Sunday Night Football. I like the Giants in this one plus the 3 points. If you can get it to 3.5, even better. These teams always play each other tough, and the Giants are extremely comfortable playing in AT&T Stadium. Remember when Eli Manning signed the wall with the first game there ever where the Giants defeated the Cowboys? I expect the Giants to win this game outright, so take them with the points and be very comfortable on Sunday night. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of The Sharp Edge. I know it was a rough week last week, but I stress again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Let's buckle up and let's get ready for an exciting week 2 in the NFL and week 3 in college football. Be sure to share, comment, like, and follow The Sharp Edge on all of our social media channels. And tune in next week because we're going to continue this positive momentum that I know we're going to get from this week's Pick 6. This is The Sharp Edge brought to you by My New Philly, where something's always new and everything's always Philly.